Greetings, Stoutlaws. In this week's episode of Forum Drama, I'm going to be covering the female question, and I'll actually be defending Tritonian's stance on including women in Mordhau. Now, the first point that the opposition will always make here is that the voices will be annoying. I hate to break it to you misogynists, the voices are already annoying.
I'm legit triggered. Hello! 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 Oh, hello! You fucking retard, man! Go say hello to your mother for me.
Now, this isn't a criticism of the voice acting, just stating that you can pitch the voices high and you can spam them, which will irritate already. This isn't a gender-specific argument. So let's move on. The next point I've actually heard people bring up is that it's pure fantasy to suggest that a woman can even wield a large weapon such as a Zweihander. Now, there aren't many videos on YouTube of people sparring with Zweihanders, but here's one of them. Now that this myth has been debunked, they often jump ship to a different argument, stating that it's statistically unlikely for a woman to lose to a man in armed combat. And this is true. I don't think anyone would really debate this, but there's already very unrealistic scenarios that you can see play out in game. For example, I can dress up as a peasant wielding a scythe and just completely demolish a fully plated knight. This would never happen in a real life fight. Plate armor is incredibly strong. So if you're okay with seeing a peasant BTFO a knight, but you're not okay with seeing a woman BTFO a man, both equally armoured and weaponed, then you're just drawing the line where you see fit and when it comes to realism. Now, the only argument that I think holds any merit whatsoever is the setting debate. So we know it's a low fantasy world, but this could go either way. So the devs could say, yeah, we're going to stick with the traditional gender roles that we saw throughout medieval Europe. Women obviously weren't in the army very often. Or they could take it a different route. They could say, well, it's not weird in this world to see women be trained in arms from a young age and then serve in the army. It could go either way, so I'd support the devs here if they decided to include women or if they didn't. Or if they decided to include cats. Now, this isn't like the battlefield fiasco where we saw women shoehorned onto the front line of D-Day or whatever happened there, because this game isn't a Battle of Agincourt simulator, and we're fairly used to, at this point, seeing women in our sword-fighting films, such as Lord of the Rings. People wouldn't point their fingers at Tolkien and call him an SJW, and film realism is what should be the objective here, as was in Chivalry. I unironically believe that having a perk where you can have a smaller female player model at like a 4 or 5 point cost would be a great way to implement this into the game. Thanks for listening, guys, and please allow me to have a game where I can brutally assault women.